I've sold businesses for 8 figures. I've bought businesses. I've scaled companies from selling 30 cars a night to almost 1,000 cars a week. I'm about to give you the exact blueprint I wish I had had when I started. If you're serious about building something you can sell for millions of dollars, this video will save you years of mistakes and potentially millions of dollars. Look, I've made every mistake you can possibly make. I sold too early. I sold for the wrong reason. I didn't structure the deal right and it cost me millions of dollars. But I also did something right. I turned a little junk auction into an 8-figure exit. I'm going to break down both what to do and what not to do here. First, let's talk about what makes a business sellable versus what makes it just a job with extra steps. When I bought my first auction, it was selling 20 to 30 cars a night. The building was held together by termites. If the wind blew through the building, you could literally hear them screaming, trying to hold it down. But I saw potential in this little junk auction. You need system, not just sales. I see too many entrepreneurs who are the bottleneck in their own business. They are only one who can close deals. They're the only one can make decisions, or they think solve problems. That's not a business. That's an expensive self-employment project. We took an auction from 30 cars to 100 cars a night and then eventually almost 1,000 cars a week across multiple locations. But here's what made it scalable. My brother handled the operation, my dad handled the finances, and when I went out, I was the face doing the sales and building the relationships. We had clear roles and clear systems in place. The moment you can take a 2-week vacation in your business and it runs better without you, that's something sellable. Until then, you're just buying yourself another job. Now let's talk about scaling. There's 2 ways to scale. There's horizontally and there's vertically. We did it both ways. Horizontally, we expanded into multiple locations. Vertically, we added services, revenue streams through ancillary product. Here's what most people get wrong. They try to scale before they perfect their model. We spent years perfecting that first location, getting the process just right, understanding the margins, building the team. Only then did we expand. And here's a key point. We own the real estate. We owned every auction, we owned the property, because when we went to sell, not just were we selling the business, we had the potential to sell the real estate too. But if we decided to keep the real estate, then we still had money coming in after the sale of the auction. So it's still like having 2 revenue streams that the buyer is able to go after, which means a higher multiple for you when you go to sell. The mobile auction concept we added, that was pure genius. We brought the auction directly to the dealership instead of making them come to us. That's thinking like an owner, not just an operator. How can you make your customers' lives easier without increasing your margins? We actually cut our margins down by opening the mobile auction. We brought the auction directly to them. But here's what really made us valuable. Relationships. I spent 9 years on the road building relationships with dealers, buyers, and everyone in our ecosystem. Those relationships, those became the moat around our business. Now, here's where most people screw up. They don't prepare for their exit. They get an offer and they think, holy crap, someone wants to buy my business. But preparation should start years before you want to sell. Number 1, have clean books, and I mean spotless. Every transaction documented, every expense categorized. Because listen, I know as an entrepreneur, you keep your books a little different as an entrepreneur. We're actually, as growing a company, we're living out of our business. There's so many expenses that we take out of our business that in a regular sale, that's not going to be counted. So guess what? Those are called add backs, and you'll be able to put those back in later. But keep clean books. They're going to crawl through your books with a microscope, so that's very important. Number 2, diversifying your revenue. If 80% of your revenue comes from one customer, you don't have a business, you have a dependency. We had hundreds of dealers and thousands of buyers. Number 3, management team that can run without you. Understand this. This is huge. That private equity group that's going to come along and buy your business, they saw my brother running the operations, my dad handling the finance. They knew the business wouldn't collapse if my ass wasn't sitting in that seat. Number 4, growth trajectory. Buyers don't just want to buy you for what you are, they buy you for what you can become, because they have things that they're going to add in that they see the potential in what you are. So if you're growing 20 to 30% year over year, that's what gets them excited. That's what gets the buyers excited, because they're going to add in their tools now to take it to that next level. But here's the mistake I made. I didn't have the right advisors. I didn't have a tax attorney. I didn't have a wealth manager. There was no one there to help me with a big exit. There was no mentor in my life that had already been through a big exit. Take that. It cost me millions of dollars in taxes and poor structuring, and not only that, it cost me part of my multiple. When that offer comes, and if you're built right, it will come. Here's what you need to know. First, everything's negotiable. The price, the terms, the structure, the absolute timeline. We got an 8-figure offer from a private equity group. But here's what I should have done. I should have done things differently. I should have shopped this offer around. One offer's not enough. You want multiple buyers coming and competing for your business. Structure matters in these deals, may even more matter than price sometimes. A $10 million all-cash deal might be better in the long run than a $12 million deal that earns out with contingencies. Think about it. Cash is king, especially at the end. Uncle Sam is going to come calling. And here's something nobody tells you. Have a plan for what's next. Don't sell because you're tired or because someone waves money in your face. Sell because you have a bigger vision that requires that capital that you need. I sold when I was 38, thinking I was done. Biggest mistake in my life. I wasn't emotionally ready to exit. I had more I wanted to prove, more I wanted to build. That's why I'm back in the game now, and this run I'm on now is going to dwarf everything I did before. So here's your blueprint. Step 1, build systems that run without you. Step 2, own your real estate if possible. Step 3, diversify your revenue streams. Step 4, build a management team that you completely trust. Step 5, document everything. Step 6, get the right advisors and get them early. Step 7, don't sell to the first offer you get. Step 8, structure the deal to maximize your tax efficiencies. And step 9, the most important one, only sell when you're ready to move on to something bigger. Don't sell because you're tired. Sell because you have a vision that requires the capital that you're going to get. Look, building a saleable business isn't easy. It takes years of discipline, consistency, and smart decisions. But when you do it right, when you build something that truly runs without you, the payoff is life-changing. I'm 54 years old and I'm in my all-in phase. The second run is going to be bigger than anything I've ever done before because I know the game now. I know how to build. I know how to scale. I know how to exit properly and maximize what I've got. I can promise you I'll get the biggest multiple for this auction that's ever been had. If you're serious about building something legendary, something you can sell for millions, hit the subscribe button because you're just getting started and I'm going to show you exactly how it's going to get done. Stay consistent, stay successful, and we're going to sell your company for huge multiples.